Everybody, and welcome back to another exhausting episode, I'm sure, of Crusader Kings 2 Nerdstalgic Splains, Crusader Kings 2 Irish Spring, episode 6. Maybe we'll actually unpause the game. Who knows? Okay, so in our last episode, we talked about childhood focuses for education. We also talked about adult focuses, and we settled on the hunting focus trait for our king here, King Murchad of Nauuuu. We're gonna skip talking about this de jure ducal claims just for a moment, and we're gonna go over here to ambition. So something that you can also do for your character is you can set an ambition for your character. Think about this as sort of a mid to long-term goal for your character's life. Now, what ambitions you can choose are they come from the current situation that your character is in. So you can see right now, because of King Murchad's traits and because of his current situation, we only have 3 ambitions open to us. We have the ambition to become a paragon of virtue. It says King Murchad strives to become a beacon of chivalry and honor, a paragon of virtue. Success condition has piety of at least 500. So if we ever got to a piety score, so this is our piety of 500, we would succeed at this. And if we succeeded, we would gain 1 learning. We would immediately gain 100 more piety. We would get a nickname. We'll be known as the Holy. The Catholic Church itself would gain a plus 1% moral authority bonus for 20 years. And any religious figure, like the Pope and bishops under us, would like us by 25 more. That's a huge opinion bonus because of us becoming a paragon of virtue, which is not to be underestimated. Having the Pope in your corner is really nice, because when he's not in your corner, it sucks. If you get excommunicated, that is terrible. And I think I mentioned that before. But anyways, 500 piety seems like a lot to us, right? Because we only have 15 right now. We're gaining 1.79 a month because we're humble, so that's plus 1. And then we're getting a small amount from our temples, and then also we're getting some from our technology. So if we think about that, we're gaining, we'll just say 2 per month. We need 485 more to get to 500. So if we divide 485 by 2, what is that? 242? So it'd be 242 months. If you divide that by 12, what is that? 20 years? I mean, we are 39. It's not unheard of for kings to live to 60 or 70, so there's a real chance we could succeed at this. Become King of Ireland. King Murchad wants to become King of Ireland. If pagan, it would allow him the unlimited use of the subjugation casus belli within the kingdom. We're not pagan. We're Catholic. If the Fabricate Claims Counselor mission is available, it may acquire a claim on Ireland with this ambition. That's something new to Conclave, and that makes this a lot better. Used to be, this was the ambition if you were pagan, and it still is, I would imagine. But now it's actually good if you're not pagan. What this means is, if you take the King of Ireland ambition, there is a chance that when you fabricate a claim on something, you will not only fabricate a claim on that county or that duchy, but you will fabricate a claim on the whole entirety of the Kingdom of Ireland, which would give you a de jure claim to attack anybody in Ireland. There's also a reduced cost for creating the kingdom if it does not yet exist. That's nice, because creating a kingdom costs you lots of gold, costs you lots of piety. The ambition can't be canceled, so there's the downside. Once you take this ambition, you're locked in. Success condition is King of Ireland, and if you succeed, you gain 500 prestige. Not too shabby. This is a new one to Conclave. Build a war chest. King Murchad wants to build a war chest and prepare his realm for war. Now, that doesn't mean that he wants to go out and chop down a tree and hire a carpenter and build a chest. What it means is that he wants to basically save up some money. Success condition has amassed a suitably large amount of money for his realm. 300 if ruling a county, 500 if ruling a duchy, 700 if ruling a kingdom, or 1,000 if ruling an empire. Well, we are currently a duke, so we would need 500 gold to succeed at building a war chest. Right now we have 65 gold, so we are, what, 435 away? Is that right? Yeah. We're gaining 2.5 a month. So, you know, that's really not that far off from piety, really. But the thing is, we're going to be pretty quickly seeing this gold number go up. So this is pretty easily doable. If we succeed, we would get war taxes for 3 years, giving the following effects. National tax modifier plus 10%. In my opinion, this reward is bollocks. It's terrible. I mean, 10% national tax, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money. But it only lasts for 3 years. Now, I'm sure that people are going to justify the reward being so weak because, well, number one, you can have this war chest event pop multiple times. Like if you get a large amount of money and then you spend down to like a really low amount of money, you can do war chest over again. Also, it's really not that hard to get there. But overall, I think it's a pretty weak reward. I think what we're going to do, we're going to take war chest. And then once we finish our war chest the first time, we're going to switch over to Ireland. So we're going to do building a war chest. Because war will happen. Now it does give you an important decision to extort subjects, and you can find your decisions here under the decisions heading in the intrigue tab. Extort subjects. What that basically does is it milks your subjects for money at the cost of tyranny. I would recommend against this. So what I'm actually going to do here, I'm going to right click it. I'm going to click that to dismiss it, and it gets sent down to here. Now, if I want to see it again for some reason, I can just left click it, it pops back up. But I don't want to extort my subjects. I'm a pretty good guy. Now, these 2 rings means we have an unmarried heir. This is our son. He is 18. He is the heir to the petty kingdom of Nauuuu. We can see that his scores leave something to be desired. He has a 7 diplomacy, meh. 9 war, okay. 4 stewardship, which is terrible, a 5 intrigue, which is not good, and a 2 learning, which means he's basically a blundering idiot. His traits, he's a tough soldier, which is not very good. He's gluttonous, so that's part of the reason why his stewardship is so low, is because he's gluttonous, which also makes the church hate him. He is patient, that's good. Patient is a great trait. And humble, also a pretty good trait, so he's going to be gaining some piety. Arbitrary. Terrible trait. The reason arbitrary is so bad, not only do you lose 2 stewardship from it and 1 learning, but all of your vassals hate arbitrary, basically. They just hate it. So they get a -5 vassal opinion. Yeah, we want to try to get rid of arbitrary if at all possible in this guy. So if we lost arbitrary and gluttonous, suddenly our stewardship becomes 8, which is a lot better than 4. But anyways, we need to get him married. So we're going to click on these 2 rings. Now, there are 2 ways that you can find potential brides. You can click on these rings, which is going to bring up, if you click on this, it's going to bring up people who are of suitable station for our marriage, basically. Another way that you can do it is you can bring up this Find Characters menu down here, and you can use that to search much more broadly. But we're going to look here first. So we don't want to click this matrilineal marriage box because that's going to basically, that would marry him to somebody, but the woman would be the leader of the relationship, and it would be her dynasty that the children would basically, instead of our dynasty inheriting, it would then go to her dynasty. And if this was our main character, then that would end the game for us. So we could do a few things here. We could sort by opinion. So this would be opinion of us, which doesn't really matter. We could sort by rank, which would basically what that would do is that would sort by the highest ranked people. So you can see Mayor is a princess of Navarra. She's the sister to the king of Navarra. So if we married her, being that we're a duke and she's the sister to a king, as long as she would accept the marriage, we would probably gain some prestige, which we could see by right-clicking her picture. And indeed we would. She would accept the marriage, or he would accept the marriage, And we would gain 59 prestige from marrying into their house, their family. And we would gain 100 prestige from marrying the relative of a king. As well, we would also get a non-aggression pact with Navarra, which, yeah, whatever. Not a big deal. Let's go back into this and let's just take a look around. I typically, when I'm first starting, don't really give a rat's ass about, like rank or anything. Prestige is pretty easy to come by. What's hard to come by is people with good traits. So, what I do is I go up here to the search box and I just immediately type in genius. And you can see, nobody. So then we look for strong. Nobody. As a last resort, we would take quick, and there is nobody. Now, a lot of that is because the game just started. As the game gets played, more and more characters are going to be getting spawned into the game, so we're going to see a lot more of that. So our options for finding geniuses, strong people, and quick are to go over here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go here. We're going to click Search All. Gender, we want women. We don't want any prison chicks. We don't want anybody that's married. We want my religion, and culture doesn't really matter. Now, I say that it doesn't really matter. Where the culture matters is when you marry somebody of a different culture, their attraction will be a little bit lower because they will consider you a foreigner. Now, we know that's not necessarily how it works in real life. A lot of times that people are more attracted to people that are different. But anyways, in this game, for the purposes of Crusader Kings 2, all foreigners are bad. At least a little bad. And you can get rid of that by upgrading your tolerance technology. Anyway, so now let's look for geniuses. There are still none. Strong. Aha! We found three eligible ladies who are strong. We have a courtier in Salzburg. She's German. We have a courtier in Northumbria, so she's much closer to us. She's Anglo-Saxon. And we have a courtier in Bornholm, also German. We can see their scores, we can see their traits, we can see their religion. So if we look at their scores, we can see, out of all of them, I would say that this Ira here has the best scores. Unfortunately, she's also a little bit older. So we have to kind of think about that. In Crusader Kings 2, women cannot have children after the age of 45. Their childbearing years stop when they're 45. So this would give these two a 12-year window to produce offspring. It could certainly happen. I mean, she is a hedonist, so being that she is a hedonist, she does have a plus 20% to her fertility. Yeah, so you got to throw that in the mix too. The other two ladies are 16, so they would have a much broader window for childbearing. Her scores are not very bad. She has a 13 in diplomacy, which is decent, an 11 stewardship, which is okay. She's a little lower than we'd like in martial, but certainly passable. And the 4 in intrigue, and 10 in learning, okay. I would argue that being this early in the game, it's probably okay to take somebody who is a little bit suboptimal on scores in the hopes that your future generations will inherit something like Strong. Now, why is Strong good? I'm glad you asked. Strong. This character is blessed with a powerful physique. Martial plus 2, diplomacy plus 1, fertility plus 10%, health plus 2, personal combat skill plus 2, attraction opinion plus 10, vassal opinion plus 5, tribal opinion plus 10. That's why Strong is so good. Strong is so good because it confers a wealth of benefits. Strong is really good to have on heirs because it helps so much with realm stability. Just like Genius. Genius is kind of the same way, except for Genius, you don't have the fertility and the health, the personal combat skill. Instead, you just get a plus 5 to every stat, which is insane. So I think we're going to go with Octreda here, the Anglo-Saxon out of Northumbria, if we can. So we dial up Duke Morcar of Northumbria. We say, hey, I've got an interest here in Octreda. I want to marry her to We need to get married too. I want to marry her to my son. And he thinks about it and he says, yeah, okay. I like you. I like you, Murchad. I'm a little reluctant because she's, she is strong, but we find out here that Brian would gain 0 prestige from marrying into House Lowborn. So basically what that means is that she's lowborn. She doesn't have a notable house, so there's no house to be married into. And he would get negative 200 prestige from marrying a courtier. But we can get around that. So we're going to do it. We're going to marry her. So that with a missive, a swallow carrying a coconut flies off, coconut in one paw or one claw and, missive in the other. Hopefully it makes it. And then, we have to get our ruler married too. So maybe we go with her, the hedonist. Maybe. Go with the hedonist. But for him, it's not so important that we marry somebody who has a trait. What would be more important for him, because really if he doesn't have any more kids, not a huge deal. Because currently our inheritance is Gavelkind, which means that all of the land is going to be split between all of the children. So if we have more children, that means what land we have, what little land we have, is going to get split even further. So what I'm kind of tempted to do here is actually look for somebody who has passed childbearing years that has good stats. Especially in stewardship or war. If I could get both, even better. I mean, she is 33, but she's also a hedonist and strong. So she has a plus 30% chance to pop out some kids. Ooh, oh, she's 16. Oh, she's too nubile. Okay, she's quick. Her stewardship's so bad, though. She would not be too bad. She's 42. She has a kind of a dump score in diplomacy. But diplomacy, like we said, not as big of a deal. Too young, too young. I wish there was a way we could change the age here. She's got a pretty good spread of scores, too. Not quite as strong in martial or stewardship as the other one. But what she has going for her is that her diplomacy is a little bit higher. She is ambitious, though, which if for some reason they did pop out a kid, which is unlikely, but if they did pop out a kid, you know what she'd be doing. She would be trying to stab him in the face. Ambitious can be the bane and the downfall of your kingdom. So bring ambitious people into your court at your at your own warning, at your own behest. I don't know. Just buyer beware is what I'm saying here. She's 61. She's pretty good. He likes the older ladies. But, she's got the stats. We're going to marry her. We're going to marry this old hag because we don't want to have any more kids. And we have the added bonus of we don't lose any prestige because she's like probably his mom. Anyways. Oh, I love this game. Anyways, so meanwhile, this guy, he's like hating me. He's like, why did you marry me? I could have had a 16-year-old. All right, so that's going to take care of both those. Now, let's talk about this one. We can press de jure ducal claims. All right. So if we click on this button, boom, it's going to tell us, it's going to outline what we have a claim on. We have a claim on Desmond here, or Desmond as I like to call it. The reason that we have a claim on Desmond is because if we click on County of Desmond, so it's going to bring up some information. County of Desmond, it's going to tell us, who are the vassals under the County of Desmond. Well, there's a Bishopric of Cluin, City of Kirk, and the current holder of the title is the Earl of Desmond here, Earl Muirdoch. And we can see how he feels about us, how old he is, where he is, what my opinion of him is, and who his religious head is, which 9 times out of 10 is pretty much going to be the Pope. We can see how much money he's making. We can see he's getting per year 15.88 from his domain. He's getting no feudal tax because he doesn't have any feudal vassals. and he's getting 12.65 from his city. No church tax, which tells us basically that his bishop doesn't like him more than the Pope. So per year he's getting 28.53 gold, and he has no expenses right now. Now this button right here, de jure, I want you to remember that, because that's pretty important. Because what we're going to do, we're going to click this. Show de jure ties. Landed titles have a de jure hierarchy that never changes, representing ancient and traditional geographic regions. Click. Boom. Now we can see, okay, right up here, you can see the, basically, you can kind of think about this as like a pyramid. This is the lowest level title that it's right above this county. Petty Kingdom of Nauuuu. We click on that. Oh, look, now we've got an outline around this thing. That's because that's the Duchy of Nauuuu. And traditionally, this county was thought of as a part of this duchy. And because we are currently the holder of that title, it is recognized by God and the Pope and whoever else that this guy right here, he should be our vassal. He should be serving us. But he's not. Interesting. If we wanted to go up another level, we could see Kingdom of Ireland. Kingdom of Ireland right there. And we can see the different duchies that have been formed. We can see the duchies that are not formed. Duchy of Leinster, Duchy of Meath, Duchy of Ulster. They're red because, well, they don't exist. Petty Kingdom of Connacht does exist. Ah, so somebody holds that title. But this guy, just like this guy, is independent. So if you were to start as Connacht, you would start off with a claim on this guy. But that's neither here nor there for us. So anyways, we have a de jure ducal claim on Desmond here. We can, at any point in time, right-click on his portrait, click Declare War, and you can see right here, we've got a de jure claim on Desmond. Now, because our council is empowered to vote on war, they get to vote on it. And it's just the way it started. The game starts with the council empowered. So if we click on this, we can see why they are willing to allow it. We have 6 votes for and 0 votes against. Well, of course we're going to vote for it. The pragmatist says it's part of our de jure territory. It's part of our de jure territory. The zealot says no particular opinion on the matter and has been swayed by the diplomacy rating of the other voters. So there's another reason to have high diplomacy. Sometimes people just don't give a rip if we go to war. And then what they're going to do is they look around and they say, oh, my buddy over here with the really high diplomacy says yes, so I say yes too. Same thing? Yep. Same thing? Yes. So we could go to war, but would that be a good idea right now? I don't know. How many troops does he have? Well, if you want to see how many troops he has, you just click on his photo, and you look right here. See this little helmet? It says Army Levies, the total amount of levies in the realm. So this is the amount of troops that he can get his hands on at this moment. He can get his hands on 1,159 levies, from which 1,100 come from his personal domain, 55 come from his vassals. And then we can see his fleet levies too, but that doesn't really matter. So how does that compare to us? How many troops do we have? 1,104. But the big difference here is we also have 300 from our vassal, this guy right here. So if we were to call up our troops, we would have 1.42k, which is more, but not a lot more. Not a lot more. You know, if we were to do a straight up fight with him, we'd probably win. But would we have enough to siege down his territory? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. So what we're probably going to do here is we're probably going to hold on just for a second. Instead, we're going to attend to some other things. So I showed you this earlier. This is our court, and you can see everybody's idle. Nobody's doing anything. Well, we need to fix that. But before we need to fix that, we need to fix some of these people. Because as you can see, some of them have some really crappy scores. So I told you guys that if they've got this fist, this bronze fist or orange fist or whatever, it means that they're a powerful vassal. And with Conclave coming in, this is a new thing. They expect to be on the council. And if they're not on the council, they will get a negative 30 opinion debuff towards you, and they will try to faction against you to try to get you out of power. Most likely. So what we're going to do, we need to try to keep these guys on the council, but is there anything they could do better than this? What about this guy? Well, if we look at his scores, we can see he has a 14 in learning. Well, that's the same as this guy, and he doesn't have a fist. So why don't we make him our court chaplain? Well, we can. We right-click his picture. We go to change council position. We click do it. And we click here. And now this guy becomes our steward. And oh my God, would you look at that? He has a 19 stewardship. So just with one, some foresight, some thought there, now we've really improved our council. We only got one stinker left, this guy. And boy, is he kind of a stinker. The best thing that he can do is stewardship at 9, but we just found we have a 19 there. So we don't really want that. Yeah, you're very well suited for marshaldom. What about you? You're fine. You do have a club foot. Do we have anybody in our kingdom that would be a better chancellor? Oh, wait. Whoa. Can we not dismiss people from the council? Surely we can. Surely we can. Huh. Oh, it may be because we're doing a vote right now. That might be what's locking it. Yeah, we're trying to vote low centralization up. Okay, so we got to pass a little bit of time. That's fine. That's fine. All right. Well, did we fill up our commanders? We did. Our council looks pretty salty. Don't need to do anything there. Oh yeah, we need to assign these people to things. So, our chancellor can improve diplomatic relations, fabricate claims, or sow dissent. What we're going to do with this guy, we don't really need to improve diplomatic relations because the only person we could improve relations with would be himself, and he can't do that. Actually, it says he can, but anyways, we're not going to do that. We're actually going to want to fabricate claims here. We're going to try to fabricate some claims so that we can grow bigger. So I am going to look around here just really quickly. I'm going to look around and I'm going to see who has the lowest intrigue score, state intrigue. Because this score, I do believe, affects how easy it is for other people to fabricate a claim on you. So 17's a pretty likely target. 29. 14. 20. So Lagan here and Sildara, both great targets. Great targets. Now we can also see here the person, his heir, this guy's heir is the Earl of Dublin. So if this guy dies, this guy takes over both of these. So he gets more powerful. He's also our nephew. Which I don't really, that's kind of crazy. His grandparents, my father, King Donchad. So I'm going to go ahead and try to fabricate a claim here. But it probably won't happen because the chance is really, really low. Our marshal, we're going to have trained troops here, which should bump up our, yeah, you can see it jumped up 300. It went from 1104 to 1421 just by putting that marshal training troops. So now our prospects of taking over Desmond here, Desmond, looking a lot more rosy. And then we're going to have you collect taxes here. What do we want to do with our spy master? Well, we don't really need to do any scheming. Nobody's probably trying to kill us, so the best thing to do would be to study some technology. Well, except for the fact that everything's grayed out. So we might need to just wait. A lot of times I've found that if we just wait, let's just wait. And then I think we'll be able to assign that guy. And as far as this court chaplain's concerned, we are going to send him to butter up the Pope. Because we want to keep the Pope in our corner. All right. So, is it time to unpause the game? His current successor is our half-brother. Something that's pretty cool about this is if this person dies and he takes over, you can see he has a strong claim on Nauuuu. But when you assign people, when you appoint successors to bishoprics, it removes them from the line of succession. And this is a very, very, very handy tool for people who have gavel kind succession. Because what you do is you wait until your second son becomes 16, and then you appoint him to succeed somebody here, and bada boom. No more split. So that's why free investiture is one of the laws here. I can't even see it. Might be because of our law here. But there's a law called free investiture, and there's also papal investiture. The Pope hates free investiture. If you have the choice between the two, he will always want you to go papal investiture so he can pick. But we're going to unpause the game. And we're going to run it at speed, we'll go speed 3. Not too slow, not too fast. So immediately we get a pop-up here. It says, Octreda and Brian have gotten married. We can collect a royal aid duty to pay for ceremonies. So basically what this is, it's an event that happens whenever you get married or your son gets married. And we have the option to take some gold or to take some prestige. Well, normally the way I judge this is I just look and see, which one's harder for me to come by. But in this situation, I think gold is weighted a little bit more heavily for me, being that it's at the start of the game. So I'm going to take the gold. And it says, to the level-headed King Murchad, your wisdom and mercy are legendary. I accept your suggestion that they get married. And now we should be getting married too. To the great King Murchad, blessings upon you and your house. I accept your suggestion that Murchad and Aina get married, the old 61-year-old lady. Alright, now let's see if we can assign our spy master. Can we? Huh, it's still grayed out. That's very, very strange. Well, I guess what we could do... What could we do here? I don't know what I want to do. I guess we could have him scheme here. Just to see if this guy's doing anything. Now, a lot of times what I'll do at the start of a game, especially if I'm having a moo start here, is I'll actually just go ahead and revoke this guy's title. Now, it says select the title to revoke. Revoking the title will lower his opinion of you. If you do not have a claim on the title or high enough crown authority, it will cost you prestige and anger your vassals, which is very, very true. We click on this. It tells us, revoke the county for 50 prestige. This will lower his opinion of you by -60 and your other vassals by 15. But here's what you got to understand. Here's what you got to understand. Think about our other vassals. Who are our other vassals? Mayors, bishops. The bishops probably aren't even paying us anything right now. And the mayor, well, they might be giving us a little bit of troops. Let's take a look. He's giving us 99 troops. That's all the mayor's giving us. He's giving us 245. But look at his max. 700. 700. At most, what could this guy give us? I mean, he has 600 total. He could provide at most 330. So we revoke this guy's title and we get 700 troops. Or we try to work this guy's opinion of us up to 100, which is going to take a lot of effort. What do you think? I think it's much, much wiser to just revoke this guy's title. And then we have a second county. So what we're going to do, we are going to revoke his title. Plus he sucks. He's terrible. Maybe we should wait until this law passes first, though. So once that law passes, we're going to revoke his title. And then we might attack Desmond. Maybe. We'll see. And here's a secret. We might revoke his title too. Eventually everybody's going to get around to voting on this thing. Eventually. Bishop Kolob is no longer court chaplain for King Murchad. So he could have died. He could also have had an event happen that forced him to withdraw, which it looks to me like he's still alive. So we can just put him right back in the same spot, and we are going to. So as you can see, as time is passing, we are gaining money, we are gaining prestige, we are gaining piety. It's not like you get it all in one lump sum at the beginning or end of a month. You get it over the course of the month. That's important to remember too, is that there are certain things that you have to pay out, like mercenary fees. You have to pay that out all at once at the beginning of a month, but you're going to gain money back over the course of the month too. So we have a random event here. New bird has arrived in the Muse, and a new book on the art of writing poetry is in the library. So let's take the bird out for a hunt here. So we have a 50% chance to have a fortunate falconry, a 50% chance of disastrous falconry. Let's see what happens. There we go. The Council of Nauuuu has rejected the institution of low centralization law. What? 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 Well, that kind of stinks, because what that means is now we can't vote on this again until this says 1060. This says 26 December 1067, but I've had it happen before where it's been like a year. I swear when we looked at this, it said that they were all supporting it. That's pretty strange. Anyways, it's neither here nor there. Low centralization, what that would have done for us would basically have given us one more county that we could hold, but we're not even at our max right now. So, all right, sucker. We're going to attack this guy. Now, he may resist, and if that's the case, then what's going to happen is he's going to raise his troops. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and raise our troops right now. We're going to get them together. We're going to let them get their morale up. The new bird was more aggressive than the ones I'm used to. It killed many rabbits, but was unwilling to relinquish its catch. It even attacked me when I tried to pry one away. So we can choose, she is far too dangerous, and then we will automatically become depressed, which sounds terrible. Or we can say poetry is safer. Let's try that instead, which gives us the buff aspiring poet for a few months, and we get diplomacy +1 for those months. Yeah, I think that's much better than taking depressed, although there are certain times where you would want to become depressed. If you're depressed, then your character gets the option of committing suicide. And say if you had a really good heir lined up, that might be something worth doing. My liege, I believe that one of your vassals can be discouraged from associating with conspiratorial factions if the proper leverage is obtained. How do you wish to proceed? Well, is he even in a faction? No. We're going to do nothing here, because if we piss him off, he definitely will not just lay down on us when it comes to taking his title. So we're just waiting until this little green bar here, that's your morale bar. We're just waiting until it goes up. Yeah. And another thing we want to check is we want to make sure that the terrain and there's no river crossings. So if we hover over where we're planning on attacking, you can see it says terrain plains. Okay, so whenever you're attacking into somebody, the defender will always get the benefit of the terrain bonus, if there is one. So certain kinds of terrain will confer a bonus to the defender. Plains is not one of them. If we look around, we have farmlands. That's another one where the defender gets no bonus. Hills. Hills, the defender actually will get a small bonus. Hills. So up here, the defender's going to get a bonus to being attacked. The ones you really, really want to watch out for are mountains. And basically, you can think about this kind of like the movie 300, or the story of 300, how a few men were able to hold a narrow mountain pass versus many, and it's the same concept. What it does is it shrinks down the combat width. So in the mountains, basically, you get such a huge bonus to to your defense efforts that it makes attacking very, very risky. Also, if you have to cross a river to get to that opponent, you'll take what's called a river crossing, and they can come in different varieties too. You can have river crossing, major river crossing, or straight crossing, and those are progressively worse for an attacking army. Straight crossing is terrible. Like you can see these dots right here, this dashed line. If I was to attack over into Dyfed from Lagan here, that would be a straight crossing, and we'd get a major penalty. Not to mention also that it's hills. So they would get a bonus, we would get a penalty. So it's altogether, it would basically the only time you'd ever want to do something like that is if you had them outnumbered like 3 or 4 to 1. Yeah, and even then I would say it's still a rash move. Okay, so our morale is full. We have 1,600 troops. Now when we go to revoke this guy's title, he's going to steal back some of those levies, but should still be fine, I think. What we may want to do, we may want to go ahead and move over here to Osrage. And because what will probably happen, he's probably going to raise his levies here. And he's going to immediately go over here to try to siege down our stuff. Once he leaves, we're going to siege down his stuff. We're going to siege him down first before we attack him, because there's a chance if we attack him first, we'll be left with not enough troops to actually siege down his stuff. So we're going to revoke his title. Oh, title revocation law enabled. What? What? Oh, there it is. It's not allowed. Well, boo. You get to keep your title. That's I think that's new for Conclave. Okay, well, boo. That's okay. So instead, I guess we get to make nice with this guy for a while. What do you got? 1.20k troops. You have no allies. So we can get 1,700 troops if we're fully levied. That's probably what we're going to do. Alright, so in the next episode, we're just going to chill out a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit more about some different things, and we might attack this guy. I don't know. He has an awful lot of levies. So we'll see. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining me. And remember, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And I would be more than happy to answer them for you. Until next time, game on.